You know, the New York City skyline isn't just a pretty picture. It's really a history book written in steel and stone, and every single building tells a story. Today, we're going to decode that history. We'll explore how the city's architecture itself reveals its incredible journey, from a small island outpost to the metropolis we know today.
So right from the get-go, the city had this massive puzzle to solve. I mean, think about it. You've got this small, rocky strip of land, Manhattan, completely surrounded by water. And yet it's somehow destined to become a global capital. How on earth do you build for greatness when your very geography seems to be fighting you every step of the way?
And the answer? Well, it's this brilliant, recurring strategy, a philosophy we're going to see play out time and time again. When faced with a limit, New York didn't just meet it, it absolutely shattered it. It did that by going vertical, by embracing these just audacious designs, and by constantly clearing the slate to make room for what's next.
Okay, so our story really kicks off with one simple, unchangeable fact. Manhattan is an island. This geographical reality was the first and, you could argue, the most defining challenge for the city's growth. It forced a culture of density and efficiency right from day one, because every single square inch was precious real estate. So that island geography really set the stage for the next huge hurdle. Because by the 19th century, Manhattan wasn't just an island anymore, it was a magnet. People were pouring in from all over the world, and it created this massive population crisis that demanded a totally radical new way of living.
I mean, just look at these numbers. The speed of this growth is just insane. We're not talking about a gentle increase here, this is an explosion. In just 80 years, the population skyrockets. It multiplies almost 30 times over. Can you imagine the pressure that put on the city's infrastructure? It was simply unimaginable.
So what was the architectural answer to this crisis? Enter the brownstone. It wasn't just a house, right? It was a whole system. It was affordable, it was respectable, and most importantly, it was repeatable. By building these uniform, connected homes, developers could pack a growing middle class into these orderly, dense neighborhoods. This one design didn't just shape the look of places like Brooklyn. It shaped a whole new way of life.
But, you know, even the brownstone couldn't hold back that tide of people forever. The city was, once again, just running out of room. There was only one direction left to go: straight up. And this marks the beginning of New York's most famous architectural chapter, the battle for the sky.
So you're probably wondering, how is this even possible? Well, it all boiled down to two game-changing innovations. First up, the steel skeleton. Think of it like a building's bones, strong enough to carry all the weight, so the walls could just be a thin skin of stone or glass. And second, the safety elevator. I mean, without a safe and practical way to get people up to the 50th floor, the skyscraper's just a pipe dream, right?
And once that tech was in place, oh man, the race was on. In 1913, the Woolworth Building soared to 792 feet. People called it the Cathedral of Commerce, and it was way more than a skyscraper. It was this huge monument to American capitalism, a physical symbol of the city's immense financial power. And it proudly held the title of world's tallest for almost 2 decades.
But of course, in New York, records are made to be broken. So then came the Chrysler Building in 1930. And get this, in a dramatic act of architectural subterfuge, its architects secretly assembled that famous spire inside the building's crown. And then, at the very last minute, they hoisted it into place, snatching the title at a stunning 1,046 feet.
And then, unbelievably, just 1 year later, the undisputed king arrives on the scene. The Empire State Building, climbing to 1,250 feet, wasn't just another tall building. It was this defiant statement, a symbol of resilience and pure ambition, built right in the depths of the Great Depression. It would hold the title of world's tallest for nearly 40 years, cementing its place as a legend. But here's the thing, building a world city isn't just about being the tallest. It's about projecting power and culture and a sense of permanence. The next problem to solve was really one of image. How do you build structures that look and feel as important as the city itself?
And what's fascinating is that you had these two totally competing philosophies for how to achieve that grandeur. On one side, you've got the Gothic revival of St. Patrick's Cathedral, with its soaring spiritual forms that are literally reaching for the heavens. And then on the other side, you have the Beaux-Arts style of Grand Central Terminal, using these classical, monumental forms to create just awe-inspiring public spaces. Two paths to greatness, speaking completely different architectural languages.
And this quote, attributed to the architect Daniel Burnham, wow, it just perfectly captures the whole spirit of the age. The goal wasn't just to be functional, it was to be inspiring. The architects behind these incredible buildings believed that great cities needed great, bold, and absolutely magical architecture to stir the public's imagination.
But, as always, the world kept moving. And as it rocketed into the 20th century, a new challenge popped up. All that ornate grandeur of the past, it suddenly felt, well, a little out of step with a modern age of machines and efficiency. Architecture needed to completely reinvent itself yet again.
And you can see that dramatic shift right here. On the left, you've got all that lavish glamour of Art Deco, perfectly embodied by the Chrysler Building's iconic spire. Then, bam! On the right, you have the clean, rational logic of the international style, captured in the Seagram Building's sleek form. All of a sudden, decoration was out and pure, unadorned function was in.
So what was the big idea behind these new glass boxes? It was basically a new manifesto for architecture. The idea that a building's design should be driven purely by its purpose, that materials like steel and glass should be celebrated, not hidden. And of course, that famous mantra that would define an era: less is more. This was the dawn of a new, minimalist skyline.
And all of this, it brings us right up to today. We've seen how the city's architecture has consistently, brilliantly risen to meet the challenges of geography, population, space, and style. So the final question is, what's next? As we face brand new problems like climate change and sustainability, what bold new forms will rise from the grid to define the next chapter in New York's incredible story?